So tonight we will be discussing paying for college, a little bit about what costs go into college and how the bills are broken down, and most importantly, how can we make college affordable for any student. A little bit about myself. My name is Patrick Lewis. I am the College and Career Readiness Coordinator at Hamden Charter School of Science, a top performing college prep school in Western Massachusetts. I've worked in education for about 12 years, primarily at the high school level as a school counselor and college counselor. I've helped many students apply for and go through the entire college process. It's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that is very important to all my students. So to start, we'll have a poll question, just kind of something that we're going to be discussing a little bit shortly, but what does everyone estimate the cost of a private college education is before any scholarships or financial aid? And take a moment, please, to input your answer. Okay, so there we go. You should be able to see the results. So most of us think around 40,000 to 50,000. Otherwise, nobody's guessing on the more affordable end. Unfortunately, that's a realistic estimation. And one moment. Okay, so how much does a college education really cost? And depending on the type of school your student attends, college can range anywhere from $7,000 to $86,000 or even more per year. But the important thing and the thing to keep in mind is this does not mean that that is the amount that you will be paying for college. There's so many ways to make college affordable, and hopefully we can discuss some of those tonight. So a little bit of a breakdown, as you can see on the chart on the screen, community college, there's community colleges all across the country. Those are generally two-year schools, sometimes with specific programs and areas that they focus on, and that's roughly anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a year. In-state and out-of-state, those are public schools. Generally, any college that has the word state in the title is a state school. In-state tuition is going to be a little bit more affordable. Out-of-state students will pay a little bit more. And to answer our poll question, the average cost of private college is around $55,000 a year. And I put Columbia University on here, a fantastic Ivy League university. They are one of the most expensive schools in the country, and they clock in at $86,000 a year before aid or scholarships. So you can kind of see the range and the options available. We'll get into a little bit more of what each option is and, of course, ways to afford it. So here is just an example of a cost breakdown for community college. A lot of people, when you hear the word tuition, you think of the general cost to attend college, but in reality, tuition is a very small portion of what you will pay. So this is taken from Springfield Technical Community College, but there's some examples on the right of other community colleges. This is a very general idea of the cost breakdown. So typically students will take 15 credits per semester in college. So that would be 30 credits per year. And as you can see, 15 credits at this particular community college is about $3,400. So you double that, just under $7,000 a year. And as you can see, the tuition for a full semester's worth of classes is about $375. And then there's fees and other costs that kind of come in. Health insurance is something that students will have to waive if they have an existing health insurance provided. So this is a public school, and as you can see, the difference with public school is that there is a cost differential for in-state students. This happens to be Westfield State University, but it's a general idea, state to state, college to college. And you can see this also includes indirect costs. So indirect costs are things like room and board, that's your dorm and meals, books, which can be very expensive. Some students might have transportation if they're traveling, cost of living. There might be other fees that are considered indirect. So the direct costs are tuition and the fees. And as you can see, for an in-state student, tuition is only $970, but the fees are where the cost adds up, and the fees will go about $10,000 whether you're in-state or a non-resident. And of course, private colleges, this was taken from Merrimack College. Pretty typical for a small private university. Tuition is, as you can see, much higher. Room and board generally will go about $15,000 to $20,000, and then of course the fees. So we're looking at close to $70,000 for a private school. So students senior year, they will apply to private, public, community colleges, all types. But how are we going to pay for it? You have this enormous bill. How do you make it affordable? And there's a few ways. FAFSA, scholarships, grants, work study, and of course, student loans. So let's get into FAFSA. And that's our second poll question. If you've done FAFSA before, or if you have not and you feel comfortable, we will, oh, excuse me, should have the poll ready before we get into that. So here we go. Yes, you've completed FAFSA in the past or feel comfortable. No, you haven't before, or you've done FAFSA, but are not comfortable doing it on your own going forward. This is a good one because there's no wrong answers, and most of us have completed FAFSA in the past or feel comfortable doing so. And there we go, so everyone can see. About 56% have completed FAFSA, and just about half are needed, maybe a little support, maybe some questions answered. So for those of you who don't know, what is FAFSA? It's the free application for federal student aid. This is when you think of financial aid, this is where it comes from. There is a process to apply, and those of you who have done it before, you might be a little bit familiar, but here are some facts. It opens every year, October 1st. It closes at the end of June, but this is not the sort of thing that you want to procrastinate or push off. It's very important. The sooner the better. Get started on the FAFSA. There's more opportunity and more chances to get this done, answer questions, and there might be more money available the sooner families fill this out. So when you are completing FAFSA, something you'll see is EFC, and that's expected family contribution. That is what FAFSA essentially determines. And what that is they look at all your information and they say, here's what we expect this particular family can contribute to a college education. They base it on a number of things, family income, how many students may be college aged or in college, assets, debt, and tax information. The actual amount of aid that a student will receive varies school by school. So it is important to take a look at that financial award letter when it comes, and figure out what the best option is going to be. Also, very important, the award does not have to be repaid. This is financial aid. We'll get into a little bit about where the money comes from, and a little bit more about FAFSA. You can add 10 schools at a time. So if you have more than 10 colleges that you've applied to, you submit your FAFSA, then go back after you've submitted, remove one or more of the schools and add a new one. And this is all filled out online at studentaid.gov/FAFSA. Very, very important. Do not pay to complete FAFSA. It says it in the title. It's the free application for federal student aid. There's so many resources available. If you have questions, if you need a little bit of help, you should not be paying someone to help you complete this, and you should definitely not be paying to sign up and complete your FAFSA. So what are some things that you will need in order to complete FAFSA? It is based on last year's tax and income information. So you will need your W-2s, your social security number, any tax information, essentially anything, any forms you had when you filed your taxes may come in handy for completing FAFSA. You will need internet access. A lot of families are able to do this on their cell phones, some people on computers, but you will need internet access and something that's called a FSA ID. Now, keep in mind when you complete FAFSA, your son or daughter, as well as a parent or guardian, will need to complete a portion of it and will have their own FSA ID. You can obtain an FSA ID at the website listed here, fsaid.ed.gov/NPAS/index. That's a very long web address to remember. So feel free to write it down or go back later and review the recording to get that information. But the FSA ID is very important. A lot of times families might get stuck on just a small portion of the FAFSA. There's a lot that goes into it. It can be complicated, especially for individuals and families who might operate or own their own business, who might have unique assets. And these are things that can be addressed when you're completing it. There's so much support available. But even though FAFSA might seem overwhelming, it might seem complicated, this is where a big chunk of paying for college is going to come from. Whether you're attending community college, private college, public school, a trade school, even the most affordable colleges, most families can't afford to pay what the cost is out of pocket. If you can, incredible, that's the goal, but most families can't. And that's why FAFSA is important regardless of what type of school a student might be attending. So that's FAFSA, that's how you get your financial aid. Before we get into scholarships, I just want to reiterate again, every school will have a different aid package, regardless of what the expected family contribution is. So you might be receiving financial aid award letters that have different amounts, but you have one expected family income contribution. So it's important, if you have questions when you receive those financial award letters, feel free to call the financial aid department of the college you received it from. They are very helpful and knowledgeable, and they can give you the specifics about why that's the amount of money that they offered you. And it can be confusing on the award letters that you'll see lines that say scholarship, lines that say grants. We'll get into grants and scholarships, but again, don't be alarmed if you receive a financial award letter from one school that says a certain amount, and then a financial award letter from a different school that has a totally different amount. They are all going based off of your EFC, which again is determined by completing the FAFSA. So scholarships. Scholarships are awarded for a variety of reasons and from a variety of sources. These are free money. Scholarships, there's scholarships that require essays, scholarships that are, you submit a letter of recommendation. Some scholarships are even more simple than that. There's scholarships for students interested in particular careers. There's scholarships for students from particular states, different cultural backgrounds. There's hundreds of scholarships every year. And it's money that's out there that will go towards college, and all you have to do is find it. And most guidance departments at really any school will be able to direct students to dozens of local scholarships. They might have physical copies to fill out. They might have web addresses. My advice to anyone starting junior year, search for and apply to as many scholarships as you can. There's no reason to not apply. I hear from my students frequently saying, well, I have homework, I just finished applying to colleges. That's all true. Seniors especially have a lot on their plates. But if I asked a student, if I offer you $500 to write an essay, they would jump at the chance. And that's what's being offered through some of these scholarships. There was a question in the chat, when is the earliest students can apply to scholarships? Generally, very, very generally, senior year. In the fall of senior year, in the summer of senior year, that's a good time to start looking at scholarships. Some scholarships haven't even opened yet for next year. Some of them have due dates in April, May, March. So it's important to keep an eye on deadlines, but there are scholarships that are also available for juniors. Many colleges and universities use this as a way to recruit students. They'll ask for recommendations from high schools for top performing students in junior year, and then the scholarship might be a general scholarship that they can use at any college, or it might be specific to a particular college that says, essentially, we've awarded you as a junior this scholarship. If you attend our college, it's yours. If not, good luck on your journey. There's also scholarships for younger students. They're not as common. A lot of them are specific, especially in the STEM fields. There's more scholarships available, but a school's guidance department, or if they have a college counselor, can kind of direct in that way. But definitely keep an eye out starting in 9th grade for any scholarships that might be available. And don't limit your scholarship applications to just a few. With applying to colleges and applying to scholarships, let them tell you no. I don't know if a student will be awarded a scholarship. The student doesn't know, the parents don't know. Send it out there. Apply to 15, 20, 25 scholarships, especially if there's no essays involved. That's a great opportunity to apply to many scholarships. And hopefully some of them come back with a hit. There's many search engines available that students can use, just dozens. Sallie Mae, FastWeb, Going Merry, College Board has some, just dozens. Search on the college engines, on the search engines. You can search by categories, you can search by type, you can search by amount, regional, local. Again, if a scholarship requires an essay, please write the essay. Oftentimes, an essay can be used again and again with just a little bit, or maybe not even any tweaking. The worst thing you can do is end up regretting that you did not apply for more scholarships. I cannot stress this enough. Scholarships are the most important. It is free money. Scholarships might want to know a student's GPA or have a copy of their transcript. So please reach out to your school counselor to get this information. And again, submit applications, search, apply, repeat. You can do this all year long. Anytime you have a free minute on your phone, on your computer, this is a chance for free money. And there's different types of scholarships. So if you have a senior, if you are a senior and you've applied to college, whether or not you've done your FAFSA, you've probably been awarded a merit scholarship. And this is based on your GPA. And the important difference with merit scholarships is they're awarded by the university's admissions department as opposed to financial aid. They are included in a financial award package. Merit scholarships can be very substantial. A private college might award a student with a 3.8 or higher GPA up to $35,000 every year. As we saw before, private colleges can be very expensive, so that still might leave a little bit of extra, and that's where the scholarships that you apply to come in. Merit scholarships you will not apply to. When you apply to the college, you submit that application on the Common App or on the school's website. You will automatically be considered for a merit scholarship. Keep in mind, some public schools and colleges will award merit scholarships that are $1,500, $2,000, and you might think, oh, come on, this other school gave me $30,000. That's okay. As we discussed, public colleges don't cost nearly as much as private, so they will not be awarding the same merit scholarships. But this is a great opportunity. This is a great way to get excited. You know, you get that acceptance, you got into your top college, and it comes along with a scholarship that you did not even apply to. It's a really cool feeling. It's really helpful for families. Again, don't have to apply special to it. It's based on GPA, and you can even go on most colleges' websites and search merit scholarships, and you'll be able to see what the different awards are. So some more tips: apply to college early. Many colleges have additional scholarships available to students who apply early. This might be $2,000 a year, but it's repeated, it's every year. And every little bit helps. Even though these are colossal tabs that we're racking up for college, every little bit chips away at it. $500 here and there can equal books for a semester. But the earlier you apply to college, the more scholarship is available. You might receive early application scholarship, and also this frees up time to apply for scholarships down the road, to have less stress senior year, to enjoy your spring semester of senior year and do all those fun things that we enjoyed from our time in high school. You, again, may have to apply to dozens of scholarships to increase your odds. Don't be discouraged if you've applied to many scholarships and haven't heard back. You have to keep punching away at it. And some scholarships might require a letter of recommendation from a teacher. So just be sure to apply early, ask early. Everyone should have letters of recommendation from teachers already for their college applications. So you might have those in your back pocket, but just make sure you're checking with your teachers and letting them know, that you would like them to submit their already written letter to a scholarship as well. And then just be aware of deadlines. Keep up with those. Once they're gone, they're gone. They don't come back for a second chance. And athletic scholarships, they're less common and should not be relied on for typical students, but for standout athletes, it's something that might be in your future, and it might help you pay for college down the road. And I mentioned grants before. Grants are oftentimes how colleges will provide their financial aid to you. In most cases, it's automatically awarded. When you receive that financial aid letter, there'll be a line that says such and such a grant, $5,000 a year, whatever it might be. Others, you might have to apply separate for, but generally speaking, grants will be automatically awarded. One grant you may have heard of is the Pell Grant, and that's a common grant awarded to students who demonstrate significant financial need. Grants are similar to scholarships in that they are free money. There's money that does not have to be paid back. The process for a university or college obtaining a grant is a little bit different, and there might be grants for specific purposes, such as the Pell Grant, which is awarded to students with significant financial need. Grants the colleges apply for, and they pass that money on to the student. And of course, work study. This is a little different. It's not free money the way scholarships and grants are. It's money that a student works for. Just like in the real world, you go to work, you get a little bit of money. But the great thing about a work study is that students are not working a taxing amount of time. It's maybe 5 to 8 hours a week. A lot of times the work study job is a pretty laid back opportunity. So you're not going into a situation where you're going to be working hard on top of your studies. They try to make it easy on you, and typically most colleges max out at $2,400 a year from work study, and that helps. You know, as I said, it's not a ton of money in the big picture, but every little bit helps. When you have a gap of about $15,000 after financial aid and scholarships, and you don't want to take out as many loans, work study is a great opportunity. Also, for a lot of students, it's a great way to get involved. It's a great way to meet people, to have something to do during the week where you're spending a lot of time studying and you're looking for a way to get out, see something new, meet new people, and help pay for college in a relatively easy and fun way. And of course, loans. Student loans, I think we've all seen in the news one way or another, whether it's the tremendous amount of student debt that exists in the country or different loan forgiveness opportunities. Loans should be seen as a last resort. The problem with loans is that while they can be very helpful in bridging the gap, they do come with very high interest rates, and it's money that does need to be paid back. While there are loan forgiveness options for those who work in public service, there are very specific stipulations, and it's not something that everyone qualifies for. So what might happen is you've done your FAFSA, you get your EFC, hopefully the expected contribution is around what you expected, but unfortunately it never really meets what we hope for. So you apply for scholarships and you apply to as many as you can, and you get a little bit of money there. You get a big chunk from merit scholarships. You're feeling good. You got accepted to your first choice college, and you look and you see that you still owe $6,000 a year. So maybe that's where you look into taking out a loan. And there are different types of loans. So federal student loans are funded by the government. Private student loans are funded by banks and other service providers. Please keep in mind, this is a very, very general categorization of student loans. This is a very in-depth and complicated and nuanced operation. This is just a general overview of what the loans are. For specific questions, there's companies, there's organizations, there's individuals that can help answer specific questions regarding student loans. You might hear the term subsidized. That is, if a loan is subsidized, that's based on financial need. If a loan is unsubsidized, it's based on credit. Uh, there might not be a cosigner. You've also may have heard of Parent Plus loans. Those are unsubsidized and for parents who qualify for that loan, and that's a way to help their son or daughter pay for college. So now what? You've received all your acceptances. You're looking at a stack of hopefully, great news. You've gotten into all the colleges you wanted to. And now you have to look and make a decision that's going to be the right choice for you and your family. So generally speaking, May 1st is when students will be required to make a non-refundable deposit to one school and one school only. Generally, this could range from $100 all the way up to $1,000, and in some cases, maybe even more than that. So you want to make a smart decision. It's important to apply to college early because then you get your financial award package early and you'll have time to review it, ask questions, contact the financial aid department. If you're looking at it and your top school is still not enough financially, you do have the option to appeal the award with a financial aid department, and it will not be held against you in a punitive way. College will not revoke an acceptance if someone appeals or someone attempts to get more information about their financial award. But colleges do not negotiate. That's very important to keep in mind. You can appeal. You can say, this isn't quite what I need. Here's my situation. But they will not revoke, they will not negotiate, and they will not revoke an acceptance. So you've done all that, you applied, it's still too expensive. Understandable. What can you do now? So there's other options, there's other ways to cut costs and receive an incredible education. Community college, as we saw, can be a very affordable option. And the great thing about community college is you get a world-class education and you have the opportunity of then transferring to a four-year college. If you transfer in-state, there can be financial incentives. Some people might say, well, I don't want to go to a community college. I don't want people to know I did that. No one asks where someone started college. They say, where did you graduate? Community college is a very good option. It sometimes has a negative reputation, which is a shame. It's a really great opportunity for anyone, regardless of academic ability, transcript, income. It's a great opportunity for any student. Also, going to a public in-state school and commuting from home can be a way to save some money as opposed to going to a private school. Also, as I mentioned at the very beginning, a typical semester is 5 courses. You can extend the length of time that you're in college by taking 4 courses a semester. Then each semester has a lower price tag, and you might find yourself in a situation where you can afford to pay for tuition and fees by taking fewer courses every semester. Students can also work part-time. I had a student a few years back who went to Boston College, which at the time ran about $70,000. And after scholarships and grants, they only had to pay $2,500 a year. That is a unique situation, but it's possible. And that student got a part-time job and is able to pay for Boston College without any loans. Again, commuting from home instead of dorming, as we saw with the private college cost list, room and board can run between $15,000 and $20,000 a year. That's a great opportunity to have a once-in-a-lifetime experience, to meet people who become lifelong friends, and there's many benefits to dorming and living on campus. But in a financial sense, commuting can be a great way to save some money. Also, borrowing and renting books instead of buying them. Books are very expensive. Books can be $200 or $300 a piece. Sometimes even a small paperback book can cost upwards of $100 or more dollars. So any opportunity to borrow a book from someone who may have taken the class already, or rent the book, find it online, it's necessary and essential to have the book, but there's ways to get it without purchasing it brand new. And remember, you're not stuck with any financial decision. You have to apply to FAFSA every single year. If your financial situation changes, it will be reflected in FAFSA. If a parent loses a job, if they take a new job that does not pay as much, this is when you would, that would be reflected in FAFSA. But again, regardless of your situation, you apply to FAFSA every single year. Scholarships are generally renewed year by year, and students can transfer colleges. A student might start at a private college. They might find that either it's not a good fit for them or the cost is too great, and they can transfer at any time. And loans can vary year by year. Maybe first year of college, a family takes out a substantial loan, and then they say, wait a second, we've found ways, we've found new scholarships. Also, students can apply to scholarships. There's scholarships for students who are already in college. It doesn't end at graduation from high school. But maybe next year you take out a smaller loan. You can dorm 9th and 10th, freshman year and sophomore year, and then commute junior and senior year. Students can pick up jobs, work studies, and no matter what, there's always options. And it may be hard work, it may be stressful, it probably will be, but in the end, it's worth it. You're not bound to anything. And for anyone who's willing to look at the options, to put in the work, to put in a little bit of time, there's so much free money out there. There's money to help pay. There's ways to help pay. College does not have to be an unattainable financial decision for any student. So again, thank you all for attending, and I hope I was able to answer some questions along the way. Again, for those of you who may have joined late, this was recorded and it will be posted. And we will now, I'm happy to answer any questions. Feel free to